Hello and welcome to EngineRoom, the web-based data analysis tool from MoreSteam. In this video, I will introduce you to some of the features within EngineRoom and give you some tips and tricks to help you get started. When you log into EngineRoom, you're first brought to what we call the project homepage. I have a few projects that I've created in the past, which are all listed on this homepage. I can scroll through them to select the one that I wish to enter. If this is the first time you're logging into EngineRoom, this screen will be empty and will prompt you to create a new project, which is simple to do by simply clicking on the New Project button. The panel on the left is a sort of news feed giving you information on the latest releases within EngineRoom and other tips and tricks. Let's go into a project to look at it. This is my project workspace. I can select a tool from the menu at the top where the tools are organized according to the phases of a DMAIC project. In addition, we have data management tools and a search feature which allows me to find any tool that I wish to use. The panel called Data Sources on the left houses any data files that I have uploaded. To look at the data file, click on it and click the Edit button, or you can simply drag it onto the workspace to open the sheet. The only requirement for data in these data sources is that the first row contain the variable name followed by the data. You can have data in numeric, text, or date-time formats. To upload a new data file, click the Upload button and navigate your way to the data file, which must be in XLSX or CSV format to be uploaded. Once uploaded, click and drag it onto the workspace to look at the data within the file. You can also create a brand new data source from within EngineRoom by clicking on the New button. This opens a completely blank worksheet where you can simply enter data by typing in the variable name and the values associated with it. You can also copy-paste data over from a different file. Remember to name your file and save it so that you can use it in future. Clicking on a data file allows you to see the column variables inside it, and hovering over them allows you to see a short descriptive summary of the data within that variable. You can delete the file by clicking on the Delete button if you wish. You can also delete files by dragging them down to the Drop to Delete button. The panel over on the right contains the studies, which contain the output from our data analyses. Let's see how this works. First, let's say I go to Measure and select a histogram tool. Note that the tool gives me guidance on the steps to take in order to run this analysis. So the first step here is to drag a variable containing the measurement data from the data panel on the left onto this data variable drop zone. I'll click on my data source and drag on a data variable. As long as it has the correct format, in this case numeric, the variable will stick. Next, I can drag on additional data or hit Continue. Suppose I pull on the after data as well and close the data source. At each step, you will have an additional information link, and clicking on this link will give you a little more information about the requirements stated up above. Next, I have a screen showing me the options for this chart, so I can choose to convert the histogram to a dot plot, or if comparing several distributions, turn on the standardized x-axis, which allows me to compare apples to apples. This option is on by default. Optionally, I can change the number of bins on the histogram as well. Hit Continue, and here we have the histogram for the before data followed by the histogram for the after data on the same x-axis. The table on the left shows the summary statistics for each of the two samples. I can modify the graph settings by going to the Graph Setup tab and clicking on the available options. I can also edit the graph directly by clicking on the bars and changing the options as desired. I can add annotations to this graph and take a snapshot to be pasted into a PowerPoint or other file. Notice that there are buttons above the study as well, allowing you to do many different tasks, such as export or print the file or download it to a PowerPoint. You can make a copy of this study if you wish. You can add notes to the study so that your teammates or other collaborators can be kept in the loop. You can also add files associated with the analysis by navigating over to the file location. And you can click the Help button for this tool to see an article on how the tool is used, as well as a tutorial showing you the steps to follow. Max mode hides the rest of the workspace. You can also hide the two panels manually by clicking on the left and right arrows to maximize your study space. Supposing you have a lot of studies open on your workspace at once, notice that the one at the top will be highlighted, whereas the studies behind it will be grayed out. If you need to close all of the studies to clear out your workspace, click the Close All Studies button. Note that the studies are not deleted, they're simply housed within this folder called Studies, where you can return to your studies to continue working on them. You can share your project with your team members or other authorized users from your company by scrolling down the list of authorized users or simply typing in their name. Click the Feedback button to send us feedback about anything within EngineRoom, where you can also attach a study if you wish. The Help menu over at the top gives you information on all of the tools within EngineRoom, and you can go directly to the tutorials link to find videos on every tool available within EngineRoom. In the user settings, notice that the guided mode is enabled by default. This is the mode that leads you step by step through your analyses. If you wish to disable the guided mode, simply click on the Disable button, and you will no longer see a step-by-step guided mode. On the screen, you can also select the language that you wish to use for your interface. Note that all language is translated within the output except for variable names and any information that was entered manually by you. Now that we have disabled the guided mode, let's create a histogram of the two data sets. And notice that all of the drop zones and all of the options are available to you in the first step itself. You can now go ahead and run the histogram tool, just as we did before. You can delete a study on the right panel simply by dragging it down to the Drop to Delete button to delete it, or if you're trying to delete multiple studies, click the Delete Studies button and select the studies that you wish to delete. You can do the same to delete data sources on the left panel. Last but not the least, the links on the bottom will either take you back to the project's homepage that we saw earlier, or clicking on the CTM button brings you to the Critical Thought Map section of EngineRoom. Here you will see that all of your studies from the project are available to you in the Studies panel, but now the menu on the top has changed so that each phase now gives you the critical questions to be answered at each phase of a DMAIC project. So you can start creating your critical thought map by pulling out the questions, renaming your thought map, and dragging on the answer pod where you will enter your answer. You can attach any studies that help answer the question and continue on with the next question and associated answers. In this way, you can create your thought map as a molecule, starting from the initial question on the left and leading up to the final answer. This was a short introduction to EngineRoom. We hope that you enjoy using it and look forward to hearing from you.